Hi, it's Ronnie, and welcome to Stretch the Sketch, hosted by Janet Fritz, who is Galaxy Girl Creations here on YouTube. And we can either make our sketch, our layout, bigger than the 12 by 12 here or smaller. And I'm going to do a double page layout using this sketch. And this is the one for August. I forgot all about the tags though. I have 4 photos. One's 5 by 7, and the other three are 3.5 by 3.5. This wood grain paper here is Craft Consortium, and I'm going to use some of it on both pages. The one on the right is going to get the bigger piece, and the background paper is 49er Market Curators Meadow, and it's the lighter side. Both sides are green, but I picked the lighter side to use. And the photos, they're in the autumn. They're in August. They are in October, and I've got August on the brain. Um, they're in October, and around here it takes a little longer than some places to actually start having autumn colors. But since there's dried leaves from last year on the ground in the photo, I'm going to go ahead and go with some of the autumn look on here. I used speckled egg first. I didn't want this too dark, and I wanted it to kind of match the colors that was in the wood grain. And then the second, I had the rusty hinge out and used it for my die cuts that I had cut out and inked, and somehow misplaced it. So I pulled out for the uh, packaging technique. I pulled out the it's terracotta by Close to My Heart, and I also used it here with the stencil. I will find it in just a few minutes somewhere along the way and go ahead and be using it again. It is a lighter color than the terracotta. Well, that ink is still really juicy. Although I have used it a lot and had it many years, it is still really juicy. Um, I wanted to put some, what do you call it? Uh, Type writing on here. So I have this one here, and it's by Stamperia, and I'm going to stamp it around with green. I'm going to decide I need a little more green, and I will pull something else out in a little bit and ink it some more. But right now I'm thinking I'm done. And I use instead of using the stormy sky with my bubble looking things here, I use the tea dye instead, so they look brown and not quite so much like bubbles. But they do have another color on here using that, and also another shape on here. And I'm not going to put my pictures on foam tape because I'm going to kind of tuck flowers here and there. And I wanted to, I didn't put as many as I thought I was going to, but I wanted to, since they were going to be, I took my uh, piercing tool and I curled them a little bit, the flowers and the greenery. And so I decided I wanted the photos flat because of that. Uh, here's where I pulled the green back out. And it is that crackle stamp. I knew I had to get it on there some way. But this is the first time I used green with it. My daughter took these photos, and like I said, it was in the autumn, and it was for their senior pictures. And I've scrapped some of them, but I hadn't got them all scrapped. And the two on the bottom on the right are my granddaughters, and the one on the top is a cousin. And I am just cutting out, this is packaging, but you hate not to use it when it's available to use. And I'd use it as part of my layering. I am going to use a piece on the right hand side also. I am inking it with Rusty Hinge because by now I'd found it. I'm trying to figure out the layers that I want to put. You seen me put the photos on there though without any layers at all. And I turned around to pick up a tray and seen my stack of layers laying there, and I thought, oh, I forgot them. So I had to pull them out and start layering my photos. I did the larger photo. I used the 1/4 inch rounder on it, and then I used the 1/8 inch rounder on the smaller photos. And I did mat the larger photo in 2 layers, but I only used 1 layer on the smaller photos. The autumn things that I'm using are 49 and Market in the leaves, and then the the rest of the stuff, everything besides that background, curios, the whole background besides it is Simple Stories, Vintage, Country Harvest. And oh, and I do have some tickets that, are by 49 and Market, but I think they were for like all the collections. And I wanted to use this piece right here. It's for journaling, of course, but I thought it'd go great with my layers, and I could show some on the top side and the bottom with it. And I'm cutting down a little piece of the stripe, and like I said, I wanted to make sure I used it on the opposite side, but I think that's the only one I ended up using it with. I may be lying right there because I can't actually remember. But everything I thought might go as a layer all got put in one tray except the big pieces, and they just got laid on top. And so I cut that little label in half, thinking I'd use it on one of the other 2 photos, but I forget about it, and it's just going to lay over there on the side and not make it on the layout. Um, no matter what color it is, I think I color it. I ink it with the rusty hinge. I just love that color and using it on autumn layouts. Uh, oh, I used my punch there. I put all the punches on a tray, thinking I'd show you all the punches I used for the flowers and the greenery that I did in advance and inked and everything. But man, was that tray heavy when I got done. I decided, well, I'll just tell you what I'm using. Um, I found this one little frame that is Simple Stories, and I cut it in half and used it on that uh, layering right there. And it was already inked in the rusty hinge, so I didn't have to do anything with it. So I'm figuring it was left over from last year. Because I don't think I've done an autumn layout since last year. I'm trying to say what I'll use here. You see me putting a couple of those things. I think one has arrows and one says photographs. I'll end up moving it to the larger one, though, both of them, thinking that I'd rather have them over on that side. I layered some stamps in the large one, and I wanted to layer some stamps over on the other side too, with at least one of the photos, so I do end up doing that. Oh, here I'm already moving the arrow one, but I think I moved the photo one as soon as I think about it. I do cut the little frames in half. Some of the frames are part of the Simple Stories, but some of the frames I die cut out, and one of them, it looks like I even took the Newell drops and made little brad looking things on each corner of the frame. But there, some of them are die cut out and inked. They are all inked too. I oh I since I put adhesive on the back of each one of the photos to start with, they all had adhesive when I started layering the stuff, and that made it pretty simple. I had to kind of pull it up and straighten it because they weren't actually in the places I wanted them to start with. But they did. I had covered up most of the adhesive, so it didn't really matter. And there's my flowers that I made. The bigger yellow ones was a scrap of, well, I'm pretty sure it was from a 6x6 paper pad. And then I used stock on everything else. And I used for the leaves there, well, the larger flowers are an old whale Stampin' Up punch. And then the leaves are an older, well, I guess it'd be younger since I said old already, Stampin' Up punch. And I think it's probably been retired a couple of years. And then I use my Martha Stewart fir branch punch, pine branch punch, fine. I'm thinking what kinds of fir. I think it's a pine branch punch. And then I also use the Tim Holtz tiny branch punch and also an EK Success large punch for a branch. So I used several different ones on there. And I also used different couple of different sizes in the circle punches for the center of my flowers. And I'm just, oh, and the flowers, I went ahead and put foam tape on the back of them and took the backing off and laid them on the wax paper. I've done it before, but it's been so long, I thought, what made me stop doing that? Because it really makes it easy when I go to put them on the layout. You just pick them up and put them down. But since my stretch the sketch uh, layouts have been so very long, I mean, once I do two sides, it just takes me a while. I thought I'd try to figure out a way to speed it up a bit since you all are on a hop and have so many videos to watch. But yeah, it was a technique to speed it up just a wee bit. Didn't speed it up a whole lot. I'm still over a normal time for layout. Um, let's see, where am I at now? I believe I'm still putting my flowers in. Yeah, I thought maybe I might have been on the wishing bubbles, wishing. I don't know if it's bubbles or bobbles. I think bubbles. But I will put a few of them on here. I've had that um, package of the wishing bubbles, yeah, for a while, and I pull it out to put on the layout and have not done it. I think I probably pulled it out on 4 or 5 layouts last year, and not a single thing made it on there. So I was determined to get something on this layout. I am going back and adding, oh, the little pine branch. I didn't add them first time around. They were down at the end of the tray, and I somehow missed them, so I had to go back and add them to the little clusters. I'm looking for hearts here. I want to add one heart to each one of the photo layers. And I think I'm getting about done. Oh, I haven't got my title done yet. And see that washi tape laying there? I had full intentions of using it on my layers, but I didn't. I just don't know why. I just forgot all about it. And the layers got on there, and I couldn't see any place that would look really good me putting them on there. So I didn't put any on there. Yeah, I've already crammed plenty on there. Uh, oh, and I do get another wishing bubble on each one of the clusters too. So I'm looking at them, trying to figure out which ones I want to use where. And I don't want to say, the colors of autumn or anything like that, or harvest, because they're not in area harvesting anything in these photos. So I'm trying to look through them and find something I can put on there that will not have those words. But then I seen the little, I guess, kind of like enamel dot things up there at the top, and thought I'd go ahead and add them to each one of the clusters. Uh, or the flowers. I think the large one's the only one I didn't add it to the flowers. And here's Happy Fall, y'all. And that's going to be my title. It's kind of on the thin side. Well, so is my paper there. But with the two of them together, I thought it'd be okay to put foam tape behind it and hold it up nice and neat instead of it getting kind of, on the warp side. And and with me cutting that blue wood grain paper, I could see white from my scissors from the inner core. So I just inked the edges, and I think I went ahead and threw ink on the center too. But it is the speckled egg, I'm pretty sure I used. And looking at that, I thought, oh, it needs a little cluster of flowers too. So that's what I'm doing. And I think that's it. I think I'll be done with the layout. Um, yeah, I mean, adding a couple more flowers, and then that's it. But I want to mention while I'm doing that if you look down there below, you'll see a playlist, and it will include everybody's layout slash video that they did today. Plus, it'll include all the ones from I think last month and the month before, plus some more. So be sure to check down there for plenty of inspiration. I just love playlists. I like just sitting back and watching. Well, a lot of times I am uh, scrapbooking and it's on the TV, but I listen and watch. But there's my bottom right hand cluster, and there's the one that's in the middle up there. I didn't want to put them like in a real tight, straight triangle, so I kind of offset that last one just a little bit. And there's the one that's on the top, and see, I got one of those wishing bubbles that was bigger on her little cluster there. And yeah, I had a lot of fun making this layout and pulling from different collections that were autumny looking. Well, the green in the background is a very, very light green. Um, it was curated as metal. Well, I think that is an autumn collection, so I take that back. But there's my uh, take originally on the sketch, and then the right hand side is my stretching it. But thank you all so very, very much for taking the time to watch my video today. I really appreciate that. And uh, I hope you take time to watch the playlist and see what everybody else has created. And there's my whole double page layout. And yeah, I'm pretty glad I got it done. Yeah, done on time on the day it's due. I was late last month. But have a happy, scrappy week. Bye.